Yo, we are. we are here with another episode of Let's Vibe TV. Um, of course, every Monday, tagging up with Hiker Vibration Network and Milk and Joe Entertainment.
That's right.
You
That's
know
right.
already know what's happening. You know it wouldn't be the milkman every time I'm on Let's Vibe TV, whenever I'm on Milk and Joe Entertainment. Damn it, if the camera comes on and I'm doing a TikTok, you're gonna hear me say, yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, y'all? Y'all know it's another episode of Let's Vibe TV. It is Monday. It is a case of the Mondays. And of course, we're trying to tap into that mental health because mental health matters, y'all. And
That's
today,
right.
the topic is gonna get deeper. We ain't gonna talk about it just yet. Maddie, say what's up to the people.
What's up? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
Yeah, yeah. One time for the one time. Of course, we love having Maddie in the building from Higher Vibrations Network. We are tag team. Let's Vibe TV is all about collaboration, and we're
That's
bringing it
right.
to you here live Monday night. It's a case of the Mondays. We in the building, but
You
we
know,
did not come alone. We have one more guest that's
hold
gonna kick
on,
it with
hold
us
on.
on tonight.
I gotta say, before we go any further, this is the type of shit. This is the reason we create that we're out here. Why creating is so important to us. It is how we express ourselves. It is how we help people. Um, it's how we change lives. Really,
Right.
low key. You're not supposed to say it, but the goal is to change
Mhm.
lives. Drop a comment. Let us know where
Hell,
you are watching from. What up, Shayla? Um, Y'all have been through grief. Everybody has been through grief
Miss 365 in the building.
right now. What up, Cold Murder One? Definitely, he knows about grief and death on a whole deeper scale. Um, we have a special guest. Oh yeah, he's in KC, Missouri. We have a special guest not too far away. They be having beef about barbecue, but today it's all peace and love. Literally backstage, there was about to be motherfuckers fighting about this subject about which barbecue was better, St. Louis or Kansas City barbecue.
It's
Almost
all about
killed.
that Memphis barbecue, baby.
No, don't do
Memphis
that.
barbecue is where it's at. You
Don't do
already know we
that.
want that. We want that dry rub. We want that Memphis barbecue.
Kansas City all the way. Fuck you mean? Okay, so
Kansas City.
yeah, yes, they're known for barbecue. They're gonna be deeper than Memphis
Oh,
any day.
KC masterpiece looking ass. Oh,
No.
this ain't that type of show. My bad. This ain't that type of show.
uh,
What?
creative collectibles is in the building.
Is that?
So
Yo!
with no further ado, our guest, our brave, talented, beautiful guest. She doesn't give herself enough credit. G.A. Bars is in the
Yo! What up,
In the
Jay?
building.
building.
Let's go.
What's up,
GA
y'all? And by
Buzz
the
is
way,
in
it's
the
St.
house.
Louis is the best barbecue. Shout out Sugar Fire Barbecue. That's my job.
I
You
mean,
know,
Yeah.
real life, we already know St. Louis has ribs named after them, St. Louis style ribs. So we already know St. Louis could get down with the get down. And of course, being from East Boogie right across that water one time for the one time, that 618 in the house, we know about that barbecue.
yeah, sure.
Them smokers be smoking.
I
Shout
don't
out to
got
Kansas
nothing to
City,
do
though,
with
man.
this
Missouri,
though.
Missouri, we got the barbecue on lock, man. We ain't got shit else to do but barbecue. You know what I'm
I tried to show you some love and you still put
saying?
Kansas City in there. What in the hell?
I fuck with Kansas City. It's a Missouri thing, man. You know, just like I fuck with
No,
the Chiefs.
no, no. You got to show me. You know we be kicking it on the ill side.
No, I know, but I ain't finna talk bad about my boy who in the chat. If he from KC, shout out KC too.
Oh, shut
They
up,
got a
Casey.
whole
Well, I mean,
barbecue.
we ain't trying
They
to
got a
knock
whole
you, but
sauce. You know what I'm
I
saying? They got a whole
guarantee
sauce.
you that it's a guy over in East St.
No,
Louis
he
with a white
already came
t-shirt
with the
on,
sauce.
with
He
barbecue sauce
already.
on his shirt, with a sheet covering the kitchen door, pulled back where you could see that potted sauce on top of the stove, and he gonna pull your rib tips because that's all he got today out the goddamn oven because he done got him off the smoker. Dunk him down in that community pot of sauce, throw it on top of that white bread, and hand it out to you.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna
What
be
up, y'all?
ready.
What up, Aaron Sloan in the building? Run them likes up. GA
Did I see
Bars,
my
you
sister in here? My sister in
yeah,
the chat too.
of course she's in the chat. Of course. You know,
Buddy!
she
Yo.
was here before you was out here. I had to hurry
I
up.
saw her. That's the one who introduced me. That's why I always give her the shout out. Now I'm always like, I wouldn't even know you if it wasn't for her.
What up, y'all?
Hey, Keely.
Keely is in the
That's my
building.
friend Keely, y'all.
Run
Hey,
them, run them
There you
likes
go.
up. GA Bars, you actually have a quote for the people to kick off the show. On a positive note for the
I
people.
do.
Mm-hmm.
I do, and I don't know. People may know this or they may not, and it's okay if they do or don't. We all suffer with some like mental heaviness. You know what I mean? Myself, it's depression and anxiety. So what I tell myself when I'm really having like one of them days where it's like weighing on me, I can't move, I can't get out of bed, or I can't. I'm just beating myself up because I do tend to beat myself up. I tell myself it's a bad moment, not a bad life. So
That
it may
part.
be overwhelming right now, and I may sit in it for a bit, but my life is really great, and I have so much support and love, and I have to remember that even though it's sometimes we forget that moment's so terrible and so heavy that you just like I can't do nothing, but you gotta remember those feelings are temporary, but your life is
There's
it's
more to
something that
living in this moment. Right.
it's
Yeah,
something
for
you
sure.
can it's
It's
definitely like
easy.
when you're grateful, it's harder to be sad when you're grateful for things. It's harder to
I
be
know
sad.
that's right.
That's right.
I think being grateful is a
Man.
dual-edged sword because then you downplay the trauma that's happening to you, and I think eventually you always have to face what has happened to you, or it's at least healthier to face what has happened to you, to at least acknowledge it. Um
No, you can acknowledge it and then say this. This is not my life though.
Right, right. You have
Right.
to be careful what you give power over your life. It's one thing to acknowledge, process, you know what I mean? Because those are healthy. Once again, acknowledging what happened is okay, but giving it power
Mhm.
over you,
uh
allowing it to control how you move, that's a whole
are
different
you
story.
are you able to put Lakota's GoFundMe in the comment section? Shout out Kentretto. He was actually just our episode is about grief. So I think it would make sense actually. He was on tour um with an artist, and literally the day they came home from tour, the artist um
Tragic.
was hurt and it was killed in a tragic accident
Oh my
um
God.
on the way home from his kids. So there is a GoFundMe to pay for his funeral. We will be doing that. And the it will be dropped in the comment section. Yeah, it's dropped in the comment section now. The GoFundMe for Lakota Skull. Yeah. Uh
I
so
didn't know you, but you didn't deserve to go out that way. But I pray that you rest easy, my brother.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Um what does grief mean to you is I think the opening question that we are asking today. What does grief mean to you? Milk. What does grief mean to you?
Yo, man, grief. For me, when I think about it. presents in a myriad of ways. I think the thing that we automatically think about when it comes to grief is the loss of loved ones or friends, um, right? The immediate loss of a person from your life. But I think grief also presents itself in a myriad of ways that doesn't necessarily correlate with death, right? Breaking up in relationships, there's grief associated with that. Changing jobs, major transitions in your life. There's grief that comes with transition and change, right? Because you inevitably will miss something of what is no longer there, right? And
Yeah.
so while I think a lot of the episode is going to be focused on how we have processed the loss of loved ones and people that have been close to us, I think it's also wise to acknowledge the fact that grief isn't solely tied to that, and that it presents in a myriad of ways, and it affects us differently, right? And so understanding that, oh, why did it take me so long to get over that breakup? Because you were grieving, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and grief. I guess I've been thinking about grief as in the physical never being able to talk to, like literal end
Well, I think
terms.
I think also I think also that grief has layers. And once again, I'm not a professional in this, and I don't have education background in terms of grief specifically. I did take death and dying as a social work major, but that it was very specific to like end of life care, things of that nature, not actual grieving, right? But I think that in grief, there is a sorrow of losing whatever it was, the person, the thing, the job, the loved one, whatever. But then I think that there's also layers of possible regret, right? And things of that nature that come into play. Oh, I wish I could have said this. I wish I could have righted this wrong. I wish I would have handled this situation differently. Oh, there, like, it's too late for me to like make certain things right. You know what I mean? And so I think that also plays a part in grief. And it's just one of the many layers that I can't even begin to vocalize at this point.
Yeah, and there is the five stages of grief. We'll get into that in a second, but part of why I'm asking that is to kind of personalize, because it's different for everybody what grief is to them. Maddie, is there anything you can expand on?
I mean, I kind of feel milk in the sense that, it doesn't always have to be about death per se. You know what I mean? You can grieve relationships, you grieving something that was once there. But I do think, with that said, there's levels to the depth, or the feeling, or, you know, I mean, and sometimes it might feel like somebody has passed, you know what I mean? But I feel like when somebody has passed, you know, that's that point of, no return, like Daz was saying. So that's deep, like,
Yeah.
coming,
Right.
having to
Yeah.
come to terms with that. You know what I
I,
mean?
as a dreamer, I think that's probably the hardest part. And I guess since it was posted, yeah. Um, I've always, me being a dreamer, I just haven't felt like if I believe good things will happen.
Yeah.
My friends will make good decisions. Their health will be good. Nothing random could happen. And I think that there's a humanity in grief that I think is the toughest part for me to deal with, because then it's like I can't I can't be in denial. I can't tiptoe around it anymore. Anger. How did we leave off? And there's always something, whether it's, you could owe somebody money I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
Ooh, a
Yeah.
motherfucker owed me $10 one time when they died. I wanted to get it from their family at the funeral.
You silly.
Oh my God.
You did.
Oh, and I
Milk.
never
I
mind.
got
I
you
mean,
in
hey,
man. Leave me alone now.
Oh
hey,
my.
I hope they still resting easy though.
You silly.
I never did get my $10. I never did get my $10.
That's
It'll come back
ridiculous.
to you. It'll come back to you.
Oh, it
It will
has
come.
tenfold. Hallelujah. Pressed
That's
down,
right.
shaken together, running
Imagine,
over.
imagine a ghost walks up and slaps his ass with a pen. That's what I want to see. Papa, here goes your pen.
Yeah, pow! Oh, glory. Oh, hallelujah. I would love that. We going viral, folks.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
And,
That's right.
GA, what?
Asking you shall receive.
I feel like, yeah, GA, what is your, what does grief mean to you?
Well, I like what Milk said a lot because that's true. You do tend to people don't give enough grieving and enough credit to like when you lose friendships or I'm not even gonna say just regular. I'm saying somebody you invested into because it's a difference from somebody that you just friends with than somebody then you like literally invested time, money, love, all that
Come
stuff
on
into.
now.
And
Yeah.
You
then when you
preaching
lose that
again on
person,
tonight. Hallelujah.
you know me, I get on
Come
the
on
pulpit.
now.
But listen, so when you lose those type of people, it does hit you different. It hits you different, whether it is that you had to cut them off or whether y'all just went y'all separate ways. And another thing, like with grief, when you lose some people, and not everybody's gonna affect you this way, but me losing my brother, that changed me into another person. So then I did not only have to grieve my brother, but I had to grieve the old me because
Woo!
that part of me died when he died. Like I can never be that person again. Like
Put
that's
it in your
over.
own words.
So my new me that I have to learn to love and I have to learn to know because sometimes after grief you like grow into a person. You're not even you like a child again where you need to grow up into that person. Cause I know I had my tantrums, baby. Anybody who know me, I took my brother death so personally. Like anybody who but you could have asked me how am I, and I'd be like, "Do you think I'm okay? What you think?" You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I? What you mean?
You don't even
Like,
want people to ask. You don't want people to ask.
how are you? What you mean? Like,
Right.
don't ask me how am
What's
I?
understood need not be explained. But people see, and that's another thing is people always want to help. But people don't know how to. And people don't realize that sometimes it ain't nothing to be said. Folks just
it's,
want you to be present.
it's like
Yeah.
just be in the moment with
Um,
me. Don't offer me advice.
Yeah, don't
Don't
say
ask my
nothing. Don't
opinion.
say shit. Just be
Just
there.
hug me, motherfucker. Roll up
Yeah.
the floor and hug me, motherfucker. Let's take a
Come
ride.
on
You.
now.
yeah, I mean, well, two things. First off, it's almost like you're, unless it's somebody physically passing, it's or something like that, it's like you're not supposed to grieve it. Why would you be sad over a friend?
Well,
What?
because all that energy and love that I don't have any friends where I'm like, oh yeah, this temporary. You know what I'm saying? All my friends, I'm like, let's
Yeah,
grow.
I don't do temporary relationships.
But you can't tell the future though, so they might be temporary, but not due to anything
Yeah,
you can control.
yeah. I
You
move
can't
just
control it.
slightly different. I understand the reason, season, lifetime perspective to relationship. And so
Mm-hmm.
I understand that everybody doesn't fall in the lifetime category, but I still value the other relationships while they are present and in existence. But
That's
you're
a
right.
healthy ass way
It's
though. That's
Uh,
healthy.
just because I recognize where they fall doesn't mean that I didn't hope and or wish that it was a lifetime relationship.
um, and and shout out to the people watching. Shout out
What up?
Sarah.
What
I know
up?
you just lost your mother. That's an intense loss. Shout out Tattoo Baby in the building. Um Shout out anybody watching, going through anything.
Shout out Creative
And
Collectibles. I love you, sis.
Yo,
Aris, and she'll be, I believe she will be at the show June 22nd. So
Quit
that's
y'all will
right.
be,
playing. Stop
You're
playing.
gonna
She
be
gonna be
able to
there.
get all your
yeah, yeah,
creative
yeah,
collectibles at the night shop June 22nd. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, she got
yeah,
all the shit y'all need, man. She got jewelry and dabs and fucking motherfucking cute little jars with blinged out lids. She's so cute. Quit playing with my sister,
Hey,
bro.
I hope she
Wait,
brings
hold
some
on.
syrup. I be wanting
I
some
got some
syrup.
shit right here. Hold on. What, can y'all see this? Just so I
Ooh,
don't burn my nails. You see these expensive ass nails? We don't want to burn them, right? So we got
that's right. That's dope.
You said
she
I be
makes
clipped out. You know how I get
and
down.
and
no, we do like they do, like look behind
to stay on subject, uh, a saying, because you talked about it and it really hit home. Having to deal with the loss of a part of yourself, a saying that helped my wife get through the loss of both of her parents was, things will never be the same, but they'll be but they'll be okay. But and like, things will never be the same, but they'll be okay. And adjusting through it and accepting the changes that are beyond your control in
For
the
sure. Well, and I
situation.
and I think scripture reminds us of that as well. And I'm not pushing that on anybody who don't want it, but for a reminder for those who do, sorrow may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Now that can be interpreted in many ways,
That's
but
right.
even in this instance, you will experience sorrow and grief. But as long as you keep living, joy will come again.
I like that. Think well, speak well, be well. Okay, code,
Uh
Mister.
huh.
I like that.
Yeah,
Amen.
that's King ISO and them. That's King ISO and them's
Yo.
If you focus on grows, I'm
theme.
a big believer in that. That's why I say, like, the moment. If you keep focusing on that sad ass moment, it's you're gonna stay in it. You know what I mean?
You have
Well,
you, you
Yeah.
have to find purpose, right? You have to find purpose in it.
yeah. What's
And,
your
and,
goal?
and I
You
don't know when we're gonna get into talking about how we've actually experienced grief and or processed it. But for me specifically, and I'm not gonna get into it too deep just yet, but it really required a redirection of energy, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I could have stayed in that sad place forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had
True.
to intentionally say, "Hey, motherfucker,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
This
and
ain't helping.
What we doing? What we doing?
well,
hey,
um,
Yeah.
and like, to that notion, right? It was a process for me, um, with like grieving things, right? Where I would choose the miserable route, and I would have to
You could do
catch
that.
myself
Yeah.
and pick the positive route.
oh
Yeah,
That
yeah."
stuff is so heavy.
or
It's
and
Yeah.
hard
and
to
not
take it off.
and don't have
and not
mental health.
necessarily the positive route, but the route that wasn't sitting in sorrow, at least, right? And then once I got to that, it was recognizing whether or not my habits were good or bad
Yeah.
at that point, and trying to then turn that energy into positive
Mm-hmm.
energy for
Yeah,
myself, where not only am I not grieving sorrowfully and woefully, and where I'm joyfully grieving, but to where my habits are positive in dealing with it. Um,
Yeah.
I agree with
um,
that. It's more. It's like the saying, like self love, but you also learn to self soothe yourself. It's so
Mm-hmm.
important. We're not taught that as children to self soothe. It's always somebody want to come and rescue us, but self soothing is so important. I'm not saying leave the kid crying all day because that ain't good, but like being able to like
no,
love on
fuck
yourself.
that.
Shut up, kid. Self soothe. No, I'm just saying, like, you have to be able to teach those types of things because when the kid grows up and they're on their own, you not finna be there to put the band-aids on. You would have hoped that they had some time to realize they should cope with those things on their own before they alone, if that makes sense. Like
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
you don't want them to truly be alone, coping with shit on their own for the first time because that can be so overwhelming. You know what I mean? For a kid who just getting out there, not even a kid, but
Mhm.
young adult. You know, once they grow up, like
Well,
Yeah.
and
and
that's one
and
thing you do have to credit parents these days because mental health is much more of a focus with children, which has not been historically,
oh
at
no,
least for us here in the United States. And so it is going to be interesting moving forward to see how children evolve differently, having more of mental health focused thinking and being more emotionally intelligent.
well, it's
Yeah.
more aware, but also at the same time, they are presented with the most information than any other generation ever has been.
That's
yeah,
every
There's
generation. That's every generation.
no,
yeah,
but literally, like every new one is presented with the most
Every new
information ever
generation, right?
because of
Because they
all
got
the
to
years
learn
prior.
everything
You
else
know what
plus
I'm saying?
what's happening right now.
They have everything that we used to have, plus the new shit they got now. Plus, they can have
Mhm.
access to anything. There is no regulation on where a
Hey,
kid
but
can
you don't
go.
have to stop learning. We can learn right there with them. Them motherfuckers ain't gonna be smarter than
It's
me.
information age, baby. What you got to teach with that information is respect and empathy.
yeah.
Without
Mm-hmm.
those two things, they'll know everything, but they'll also murder you because there's no empathy and there's no.
Yeah,
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, you
well,
all
they
right?
lose common sense and all that type of shit along the way.
Hey, Ashley. That's my best friend, y'all.
Yo,
And
what
My
up,
best
man?
friend.
That's that BFF in the building. Like,
That's
whoa.
My
right.
best friend.
All
and
My
day,
best friend.
all day.
and you are valuable, and I love and need every last one of you. Russell, you are valuable.
Yo, what up, Ross?
I need you. You are special. You are valuable.
Good night,
um
Russell.
we all uh help each other get through our days.
That's called
GA
building
bars.
community. We are the support that we all need.
Yeah,
But and so you had a major loss at a young age in your
yeah,
life that you're still coming to terms with.
yeah. Yeah, man, just losing a younger sibling. I'm the oldest.
Mm.
I'm the oldest, first off, so it's like, first off, he's like my son. Okay, he's not even like my little brother. He like my son because he literally, I raised him, and I'm not gonna say I was his mom because I wasn't, but it's like, it's that type of perspective. It's deeper than a mother because it's
You had a
like,
maternal relationship.
we had a relationship where I was always trying to protect my brother and sister. I don't know if I did the best job. Bunny, don't snitch on me. But creative, don't snitch on me, creative collectibles. But yeah, no, I tried my best, and I always said when we was growing up, y'all, y'all move in with me when we grow up. I'ma protect y'all. Forget everybody else. I got y'all. But like when you are the bigger sister and you lose the little brother, man, that shit, and then the crusher on top of it is he was in jail when he passed away,
Mm.
Mm.
up the street from my house.
Wow.
And so like, man,
in
that
j-
shit.
in
That's my
jail.
best friend, man. Like me, my brother, and my sister, we were the three musketeers, bro. We was like always laughing, always joking. We all smoked. All we ever did was kick it, bro. If you had the three of us in a place, you was probably finna pee on yourself laughing, fucking with us, man. Like real talk. You'd be like,
Oh,
my cheeks hurt. Please, and we just keep on going because we funny as hell, man. All three, but like it is fucked up. Like the one of our musketeers, man. He our biggest guardian angel. So I'm
oh
not gonna lie,
wow.
like this shit ain't like crushed me like to the core. Like I was at work. I was at work, and my grandma, my one of my last grandmas, she was in the hospital. So
Wait,
I'm
can I
thinking to
pause you?
myself,
Can I pause you real quick? I'm sorry because I just had a point that I think really needs to be made just in terms of
okay,
what you just said, and I don't know if you even recognize this, but it just kind of clicked for me. Think about how much of your identity was wrapped up in your brother in
we
terms
are
of
the
how you
we're like triplets.
describe the three of you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like it's more than just losing a sibling, a loved one. Like there's grief that comes with all of that, but like your identity is wrapped up in this individual. Like part of who you are is who he is. Part of who he is who you are. And of course, you still carry on. You know that, but at the same time, like that's a disruption.
Man, it was such a life shattering moment for me because I'm gonna tell you, I was not expecting that. He was about to get out of jail in 1 week. Okay, 1 week. Instead of the day he was getting out of jail on that day, he was
So
buried on.
he was working. He was doing some community service jail work at the time.
No, he wasn't. He was in jail. He was
just trying to
in.
clean up jail. He might have been doing weekends or serving 30 days
It's fine.
or something.
We all been to jail. Well, I've been to jail hella, so maybe I don't look at it
Well,
like
I
a
ain't
bit.
been to jail. I
I've
ain't
been
gonna
to
act like I
jail.
have. I know lots of people who have.
The dude was in jail for a motherfucking driving while suspended, bro. They wanted to give him 5 years for driving while suspended. Okay, 5 years. Exactly.
Missouri don't play.
Exactly. We in a little southern boot hill ass town. I don't even know why the
That's
fuck
a
he was
red
there.
state.
So the place he was at, he did a whole year there, and he was gonna get out, man. He was gonna get out and do some treatment shit, right? So some probation shit. So he back from that a whole year later. He he touches down to the jail. I'm at work. The night before he had touched down to the jail, he hit me up a couple times, and I'm like, "Hey, what's good, bro?" He's like, "Come up here and get this box of stuff for me, sis." I'm like, "Can I get it tomorrow?" You know what I'm saying? I'm right in the middle of something, and I wish, like, that was my biggest regret. Like, I wish to God I would have just went up there.
Yeah.
I mean,
but look, besides that, so I'm at work and I'm like, okay, man, my brother cool. I talked to him last night. He gonna call me today. I'm gonna go up there and get the thing, right? And my grandma in the hospital, so I'm thinking, oh, she probably is why I'm getting this call, because I don't be getting a call at work, you know, about my mom calling me at work. So anyway, I get this text because I couldn't answer the phone call, and then I get the text, and it's like, "Hey, I'm so sorry about your loss."
Oh,
and I'm like, what? I'm like, what? What loss did I have? What the fuck? I ain't had no loss, so I'm not sure what you mean exactly. But my heart was sinking because I thought it was my grandma, right? I thought it was my granny, but it was still gonna be sad. But she was 90, you know what I'm saying? But it was still gonna be sad for me. Right. But so I was expecting something, but just not what happened. And then my sister called me and she like, "Hey, I'm finna come see you real quick." And I'm like, "Oh man, she finna tell me grandma gone." Right? Prepared. I'm prepared, right?
And you're talking about creative.
No, she pull up on me and she say, "Our brother gone, man." I lost it. Do you hear me? I fell all over the place. I fucking fell to the ground. I don't know why I went away from Bunny. I don't know why. I don't even know why. I was supposed to. I had to go back in there and get my purse. That's the only thing I was supposed to be in there doing, man. I done fell in there. I done grabbed the lady up like, "My brother." She like, "What the fuck? I don't know you." She like, "I don't know you, man." But look, man, that's the type of shit that I got hit with that day, and it literally broke me in half, man. Like that. I was at work. I was like, nothing prepared you for that. Nothing prepared you for that, man. But it was just so many blindsides. I'm like, no, this can't be. He called my phone this morning, but I was at work. I couldn't answer. Right? It wasn't even him calling me. It was motherfucking the parks department calling me about the pool passes. But man, look, it was just a hell of a blindside. So like that type of loss right there, like I can cry and don't feel bad for me. These tears are good. I said earlier I wasn't gonna cry. I was just gonna do puffs of smoke. Hold on. I got y'all. But anyway, man,
that's tears of
that's the part of shit I'm not here to share for a reason and like share my heart and my sadness, because I just want somebody to know, like I said, it's a bad moment, not a bad life. And you know what? I still got my sister. And my brother is like guardian angel, bro. He done saved my life so many fucking times. Right after my brother passed away, I got in a head-on collision. I shouldn't be alive. I'm talking about in June. He died in May 21st. I had a head-on collision in the middle of June. Wasn't even a month later, he saved me. My daughter pulled up on me at the accident, like, what the hell, mom? Like the whole shit was caving in. I didn't have nothing wrong with me, mom. Head on collision along Lindbergh. I don't even know if y'all know where that is, but man, I just turned
Lindbergh Boulevard.
it into nowhere.
I gotta I gotta say, today for me is the birthday of my best friend, who passed on, Janice Hogue. Today is her birthday.
Happy
Uh,
birthday, Janice.
no,
Birthday.
she passed on. She's gone. She
We
I
can
know.
still wish her
She can
happy
hear us
oh,
birthday.
though. She can hear us.
okay. Oh, well, yeah, Janet. I'm not, it's crazy because when people are there and they give you, it's crazy because the saddest people are the ones who say it the least.
Yeah.
And I wish I had known more of what she was going through to have been there for her more. She tried to tell me,
Um,
but I think I was a little bit too dismissive. I remember I got a phone call at 2:30 that night, 2:30 a.m., and I was sleeping. And I woke up, and that's my best. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shoot, my best friend. And so I waited the whole next day for for her to call me, and I noticed that her picture was people's profile picture. The next morning, I got a phone call, and it's crazy. Cause my wife was in Illinois, I was in Atlanta, you know, and so we were far away. Uh,
so,
Right.
and
The
it
the
was
person who you would have leaned on most was not physically present.
Yeah, like, and the person I'd have leaned on most if she wasn't was who had passed on. Um,
Yeah.
her boyfriend called, and I screamed and I cried and
man,
it was wild. I couldn't even
That boy,
imagine
it
it.
can get real ugly. Yeah. Ooh.
Um,
I'm sorry that happened, man, because that
I
shit
don't.
make me feel.
Yeah. If you haven't primal screamed, I mean, I think that just comes with like some real deep grieving. You're gonna do some primal screaming.
Yeah.
oh, I yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
Um,
yeah.
back
Boy,
then a minute ago.
woo.
Woo.
It'll climb up out of your belly.
yeah. How do you deal with your uh how you have milk?
Let's
Yeah.
go to Maddie. I really want to hear Maddie tap in. I
I've
know
just been
we
listening to
dominated
y'all.
a lot of the
Oh,
conversation.
man.
But
No,
Maddie, talk to
you're
us,
good.
Maddie.
It's a heavy topic, so I'm just trying to let everybody get it out.
It
But I
But
is.
want to make some room. I want to make some room for you, though. Just talk about your personal experience.
Yeah.
okay. Well, I feel like I have dealt with grief, but not as close as like you, GA, you know what I mean? Or like, other people. But still it's still painful regardless, you know what I mean, of the closeness or like, whether you see them every day. But I think like the two most impactful losses that I had was like first my grandmother. That was way back in '08. So I was younger. So I dealt with that differently. I think kind of like she wasn't, it wasn't expected, you know what I mean? So like, you go through that disbelief and then you go through that, but I think I was like, the reason this is most impactful to me is because like growing up, she never lived close. So like, we were we would talk, but we weren't as close. But she would send me like gifts and books and things that I would never read until I never, it's like you're a kid, so you're just like, okay, grandma got me a book. But when she passed, I finally read them, and they were like, it opened up my whole world to spirituality, and everything I do now, higher vibrations, everything came from the stuff.
Wow.
Hey
So
man, you have a story. You have
yes,
a story.
No,
And,
thank you,
and
thank
and
you.
no
that's
story
gonna be
is lesser than the other one. No story is lesser than the other one. There's a lesson in all of our stories.
That's real.
and
Thank you.
Amen.
a similar
You
heartbeat.
never know who's listening.
Right, that's real.
Well, I really feel like y'all watching. If y'all have not liked, like and share, maybe it could help somebody out. We ain't asking for
Hey,
no dough.
I'm gonna say what he ain't gonna say, but what he always say on every other show, which is put some respect on this. Folks is out here being vulnerable, really trying to pour out into the community, let folks know that they're not alone. You're not experiencing things by yourself, that
You're
we're
not
all
alone.
human beings. We all process differently, but we all struggle the
Amen.
same.
Yeah,
Man,
Yeah.
Put some
Um.
respect on it. Put some
that's
respect
right.
on it.
But and I love it. I feel like all the people that I work with and that I see working, the ones thriving the most are ones who turn their trauma into
art,
Purpose,
Yeah,
purpose, who
redirecting
yeah,
turn
energy.
their
purpose. I
trauma
say art, but
into
purpose, creativity.
purpose.
Hey, glory.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's real.
Hmm.
But
Um
yeah,
so how
Is it
do
my
you
turn now?
yeah, go
I can't
ahead.
wait for y'all to hear my new music. I shouted my brother out of my last song, so that's wild. I
Okay.
didn't even know y'all was doing this show today. And then it's just been a
everything.
lot of synchronicities lately for me, like giving me
Have
a
you
lot of
sent it to Dad?
affirmation, like
Did you
being
send
on
it
the
to
show
Dad?
with you, June 22nd. Like just that alone, like so we went from a whole year later. Like you really been doing nothing but show love to me ever since I met you, and that is because of my sister. But like I always feel like somehow it's like the Three Musketeers got that energy going. Like my brother's in your ear saying, "Hey, fuck with GA," and then my sister be like, "You know my sister? Yeah, blah blah blah." And my sister
Yeah.
love Bunny's so fucking. My sister, well, Creative Collectibles is so fucking. She always show love, bro. She show love. She shares. She tune in. She fucking buy shit. She'll show up. She does
I definitely
everything that
watch
she
all.
wants back.
I can
I
testify to all of that.
definitely
Milk,
like she put me in the game whenever she can, you know. So I appreciate her. But just like that, like she put me in a blessed position because she introduced me to you. You showed up at my
I
show in Atlanta, and then ever since you showed me love, you gave me an interview like the same week or something, right?
I don't even know. I just
I
be
don't even
trying.
know. It was close. It was fast. It was fast as hell. He was like, "Hey, let's get the interview." I'm like, "Damn right, let's get the interview." What you
I
mean?
mean, creative was showing so much love. It was only right to do. Milk.
Yo,
You were gonna share your story, Milk, and
whose child you want me to share? Let me bring my
this would be
energy
the
way
first time I've
up.
actually heard it. This will be
Come
my
on, Bill.
first time actually hearing it.
Wow.
Well, see,
Fourth
I mean, there's
quarter,
many layers to grief, and if I wanted to solely speak about death, I mean, that in and of itself could be the rest of however long we're gonna be live. Because my relationship with death started very young. You know, some folks don't become adults until they've gone to their first funeral or lost their first loved one. For me, that was completely different. I had play grandmothers in the projects where I live who died when I was in elementary school. I had other people who were told was my family who weren't. But you know, you still develop those relationships. And as a child, you know, I went to those funerals as a child in grade school. It didn't end there. Went all the way through middle school funerals, and processing death has been a long standing thing in my life. You know, being in East St. Louis, driving by the funeral home, you know, multiple times a week, seeing it packed. You know, moving to East St. Louis and my principal being killed within the first couple of weeks of me being in school.
Damn.
You know, so like there's a slight disassociation and detachment when it comes to death in general based on the exposure that I've had to it. I also will add a caveat in the sense that I never said this out loud. I don't know. Maybe I have. I don't know who I would have said it to. But death was actually scary for me as a child. Now, because there's this toxic masculinity that was poured into me very young. So I never cried at these funerals because I wasn't supposed to. But I was also
Mm.
afraid of it because I didn't understand it. And then I would have dreams of all these dead people and shit that I went to their funerals and stuff. It was a real
Yeah.
creepy type thing. It's like you close your eyes in the shower, you see him and shit. You want to wash your hair with your eyes open.
Hell no.
It's a real
You ain't
crazy
told me
mess
that you
as
gonna
a
watch your
child.
eyes.
You know what I mean? It's a real
Well,
crazy mess as a child. And so, those are just layers and caveats to this overexposure to death, throughout my life. But specifically, I would speak on my biological mother. I was blessed to have three mothers. Two of them have gone. One I still am blessed to have in my life. I don't know where I would be at 41 years old if I still didn't have her left in this world. So I'm grateful to God that He has saw fit that I still have one of my three mothers left. But specifically, my biological mother, I had thought about her death once again for the majority of my life. I remember like praying as a child when I went to bed about allowing me to see her again the next day.
woo.
Like, and so having thought about, like, especially when I think about the time that I had spent away from my mother, like, and wanting to be able to experience her presence again. And so, even the thought, and I don't, once again, I could get pretty dark, and I don't know where other people's minds go, but I had even had thoughts of like what it would be like to stand next to the hospital bed, or like what might happen, like, and like try to prepare yourself, process these type of things in terms of, but there is no preparation. There
Yeah.
is no preparation,
Uh,
and the loss of my biological mother caught me so far off guard, and caused me to react emotionally in ways that I hadn't since I was a juvenile, um, and turned my world upside down. Um, there was a lot of remorse, regret, what ifs. I can still, if I stay on the subject too long, begin to process every moment, conversation with doctors and hospitals and nursing homes and rehabilitation centers and everything that played into the ultimate demise that she ended up succumbing, um, which ultimately required me to take her off of life support. Right. So, like, even factoring in the fact that I was the one who said
you
that this
had
was
to
over.
make that decision.
You know what I mean? So there's just layers to that, and that can consume your thoughts. And for me, it did. It
Ooh.
was where I was grateful to
Mm-mm.
have learned from a brother named Kyle in Decatur, Illinois. This concept of flick back, flick forward, which kind of went in line with me in terms of the concept that I applied the philosophy of changing the channel, being intentional about where your thoughts are allowed to go. And being intentional about switching out of that and understanding that there are strategies for pulling yourselves out of dark holes when you get into thinking, whether it is about grieving of the loss of a loved one, or whatever dark hole you might find yourself going down. That quick strategy is once again just flicking back to moments of great joy, and achievement and accomplishment, and flicking those thoughts forward. And the moment that you begin to linger on those thoughts and truly think about the joy that you experienced, that actually chemically takes you out of your amygdala, moves you back to your prefrontal cortex, allows you to begin to think rationally and logically again.
Amygdala is his favorite word.
Big deal,
Hey
little
man,
baby.
well,
You talking about
you
He
need to be
says
hospital
it
familiar with
once
it.
a mental
The
health
reason why you need to
episode.
be familiar with your amygdala, because you're a very emotional person.
You
And so
need to
you need
get
to
fucked.
understand that the trauma that you have experienced caused your amygdala to grow. And because your amygdala is bigger than it should be, you tend to linger there longer than you should.
Well, and I've been thinking about it throughout this conversation, and little things like, I don't know what I'd do if I lost one of my brothers or my uncles or my parents. And as
Yeah.
far as thoughts of them being like by their hospital bed, my mom never let me see her need a dollar, a quarter, I don't even like I don't know, like a piece of anything, you
Yeah.
know. And
Milk, you went
so
through so much, man.
and
Sending you
Well,
so
love.
here's the thing though,
but but I've
and this is where the
experienced
joy.
death. I've experienced death my whole life. Close, but like and frequently.
Yeah.
But at a safe distance, and I do separate myself from that, but I don't know what I would do in the situation of uh yeah. I don't
Well,
even
Yeah.
want to think about it.
I
I
can
can
tell you
relate
what
to
I
that.
did. I can tell you what I did, and this is where the joy truly does come in the morning. But it does require some intentionality. And let me throw a couple more caveats in there. And I know I can get long winded with it, but I think it's important to acknowledge that when you factor mental health in with grieving, it's a whole different ball game. It's one thing
Yeah.
to relatively be regulated and experience grief. It's another thing to have some underlying mental health issues or outright mental health diagnoses and then still experience those things. Completely different scenario, completely different experience. And especially if you experience depression, for instance, and are comfortable in the dark, then like
Yeah.
Daz said, or I think it was Daz, it might have been GA actually. No, it was Daz, talked about leaning into the dark, right? Being comfortable there.
Yeah.
Um, and so this is where the intentionality came into play, right? It was redirecting that energy. It was okay. I've lingered on this long enough. She wouldn't want me to be doing this. She would want me to be happy. She would want me to be moving on, to keep living, right? And so that energy then was put into podcasting, right? And while it wasn't received well by everybody in my family, as you know, smoking on the internet hasn't really been a popular trending thing. You know, it's getting more socially accepted, but at the end of the day, it isn't accepted by everyone. But it was how I chose to redirect that energy. It was how I chose to keep living. It was
Huh.
during the pandemic, similar to GA bars, and so just getting up. I was shooting podcasts daily with my brother
Yeah.
Joe, and you know we're still doing it to this day. I wouldn't have the relationships I have in terms of Daz and you and Maddie and everybody else that I've come across in this world in terms of podcasting and making content. And so it was just a redirection of energy. Like I said, if I stew on it too long, I can still take myself back to the moment. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'm not comfortable there. I don't want to be there. Um, and I choose to pour that energy out in other ways.
Yeah.
Amen. Hey,
Yeah.
milk. That
Yo,
baby needs some milk.
yay!
That should be our
Oh,
slogan. That baby needs some milk.
That baby needs some milk.
over overcoming grief. What's the best advice for overcoming grief? Maddie, we'll see what does Maddie do when she needs
I
to overcome his sadness?
I feel like as far as grief, I don't probably have the best advice. I can tell you the last time I lost somebody, which was 2020. This is a friend that I grew up with. Um, I think it's just, it's one of those things like it catches you off guard and then you wish you had talked to that person more and all this kind of stuff. And so I honestly, I just smoked a lot. I feel like that started
Yeah.
a whole I was at a time where I was cutting back. That started a whole just wave of I'm back at it heavy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but I would not say that that's not my advice. I think that's me just saying that's what
I
I
hate to yeah, I hate
because
to
it kind of
say
gives
it.
you
I mean, in the bigger scheme of things, there are a lot worse ways to cope. I know everybody doesn't
yeah
agree with cannabis, But like I said,
Sobriety
in the
is
bigger scheme of things,
understated,
if
though.
that's
I
what it
think.
takes to get you through, puff puff. Don't pass if you don't want to.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of just like do that to not cry. Cause like, you can get so emotionally worked up and then like you just take a hit and then you're like, it's like an exhale for a second,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I
at the
will
same
tell you.
time too, you gotta
Go ahead.
process that stuff. I feel like
Yeah.
that's not always the answer. You know what I mean? And luckily that was not, someone I was with every single day, but it was someone I grew up with, from childhood. So, it sucked either way. And there was a good few months of that just I feel like I don't know about for y'all, but like I feel like I could like feel it like in your heart literally.
Yeah.
If
Oh
that
Like that
makes
yeah,
sense.
part,
yeah,
that
yeah.
part. You definitely
Like
got to
You
loss
know
of any
when your
kind.
throat be straining and it go all the
Yeah.
way down into your
It's that
chest.
tightness in your chest.
Right.
It
You know what I
feel,
mean?
it feel like somebody down there flicking your heart, like bing, bing.
Like if
Right.
you don't get your ass off me.
Right.
Hey, leave me alone now. My heart fragile. Don't be flicking that motherfucker.
First of all, I'm
Right.
too big to be having
Oh
anybody
no,
flicking on my heart.
I
If
You
you can hold
agree.
up
stupid
at the chest,
man. Oh my
I
god.
agree. It's but I
he
also
said
feel like
I
it's a
agree.
no. I meant
Protect this part, universe.
no. I meant to the comment
I'm
section.
yeah, I know you
Oh,
know me.
Where they said it is kind of where creative. GA's sister said it is kind of helpful. I agree, but some people use it as a mask, and
instead
once
of
it,
dealing with it, which I
Oh
think
yeah,
yeah.
it needs to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
dealt
yeah.
with
Well,
and
and,
felt.
and alcohol, we know alcohol is next. That's the worst. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
So
and
hey,
that's not.
that's the
It's not a
worst
good
right
way to
there.
go.
I be coping right here.
Yeah.
I be coping. I be coping.
I feel like that is like a temporary
Mm-hmm.
in a way. I feel like that just what it almost for me, it just helps you put off the feelings till later.
Well,
I mean,
in a
I
sense,
mean,
yes. What I
yeah,
will say is it shouldn't be the only thing that you're using. Like if
exactly.
you're going to use marijuana to help you kind of level out, it shouldn't be the only you have
look,
to apply some other self-care.
And I
You
have
need
lots, yeah, I
you
have lots
still
of
need to be
other self
processing.
care
I
things,
think
but
it's. I mean, it's
I didn't use
sad
them that time.
to still be. I mean, I think we'll always be looking for the answers to these questions.
One of the other
Sadly,
things I want to say, which I don't know that any of us have acknowledged. I know Dad said he didn't really have anybody in his experience, or he was waiting for his wife to come home, so he had to utilize her by the phone. But I am grateful for the people that I have in my life, and for the people who held me up
Yeah,
during my most difficult time. The people who are with me, at the moment when it was all over. The people who were with me daily. The folks who called me every morning and waked and baked with me. To all my family that held me up. It takes a village, is what they used to say, and
yeah,
nowadays we use the word support. But either way, you got to have a support system. And I don't know where I would have been without them.
yeah.
They made it easier to redirect the energy.
Man.
It's important to have those
join
around you.
join groups, you join grief groups, you do everything you can do. There's a lot of ways. Gain information to understand what you're feeling. Uh, I know out here, Cecilia has a whole grief group that goes on free trips
That's
where
dope.
I'm
everybody's been.
joining that group.
Yeah.
Add me. Yeah, free
I
tip.
mean, it's not.
I was
When
being
I said
sarcastic.
trip like it was trips, like it's more. It's
I'm
like
like
Uh,
vacation.
putt
Never
golf
mind. If
type
I can't
shit.
go to Disney World, I'll
Right.
It's
grieve
like
how I grieve.
yeah.
I'm gonna be silly for a moment because y'all know I'm ignorant. But I was just reflecting yesterday about I was watching something on television and it was like a therapy group or some type of group session thing, and I was like, I would not be good in a group because I could just picture me like finding something super hilarious and just bursting out laughing at the wrong time, and people are not gonna want me in the group. They're not gonna want me in the
You'll
group.
definitely piss some people off.
You know what's happening. I gotta pick the right group.
Yeah.
He said, "I gotta pick the right." Um. Well. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Thank
Yo,
y'all.
yo, yo, man. It's another amazing episode of A Case of the Mondays. I know this was a tough one tonight. It's only the third installment. It only gets deeper from here. We talk about real shit. When you come on this show, you take off your mask, you let it all hang out there. We put it out there for y'all, so y'all know that y'all not alone. We in this shit together. We build a community. We are the support that each other needs. And like an old school BET condom commercial, we fixing to throw that
Well,
fight
wait.
up in the air.
Let's
He
say,
loves to interrupt my. He loves to interrupt
But
my.
the good
Look,
quote.
y'all never asked me what I did to cope with my grief, but I do want to say
no,
something before I go.
go
Okay.
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. He one time for the one time.
Go. No,
First of all, I
we
just
got
say,
all the time in the world, really.
no, I'm just waiting my turn patiently. But listen, I wanted to say to Maddie, I think if you write down a letter to yourself, you'll probably feel a
Okay.
lot better. You don't have to talk to everybody because everybody's not going to understand where you're coming from. But you're in your
Woo!
own mind. When you write it down to yourself, it's really like you're releasing part of it. And then you can
That's
even do something so far as to take it and burn it and
okay.
get rid of those sad feelings a little bit. It's not going to be right away, but like, a little bit of journalism maybe for your write yourself a journal, write yourself a letter all the time when you're feeling like
A
you don't know how
type
to.
of release almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or something else you're interested in. I don't know, writing or singing or creating art. You could do poetry.
You
You
could
could
break some shit. Breaking
literally
shit is okay.
hiking is an art form. 'Cause you could go out in nature, and that's another way of being really artistic and creative too. Like
That's
bonding
my
and
favorite.
put your feet in the grass. You know what I mean? And just sit out there and look at the ladybugs for a second, and it kind of brings everything all in perspective.
Oh
And
yeah.
then like just being creative is the way I like to try to cope. But my main thing is to transmute. So I like to help people heal, and it helps me heal. I ain't gonna say it makes me heal, but it makes it easier for me to be easier on myself because I can be easier on other people. And like my heart goes out to all of y'all and hearing your stories. And I just hope that you get some type of peace knowing that we're doing something good with our time and our energy and their energy. And the way we're honoring our ancestors is what it's all about. So
I
I'm
like that.
very
It
y'all
really
both
it,
Yeah.
Amen.
well, it's good to come. It's good for it to just come natural and be a part of the agenda. Like I said out the gate, this is what we really do it for at the end of the day. And
That's right.
um, Code Murder One says anybody holler at him. And he really is. He's a mortician in real life.
Wow.
He's been through it all.
That's
Mental
right.
health,
Hey,
all
you
the
looking
above.
casket sharp. Have you looking casket sharp?
I can't
Shout
deal
out to
with
my
you.
sister Creative Collectibles again. I love you,
First of
sis.
all, when I take my mask off, you get all of me.
Yeah. Well,
Cause
You know,
all of
we get all you
me
all the time, bro.
loves all of you.
oh, um, rest in heaven, Janice Hogue. I love you. Thanks for your friendship and your energy. Um,
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Amen.
he would though too. He'll have you in a suit. He said, "I'll make you look pretty, Mel." That's funny.
I want to give a special shout out also to I don't want to say the people because I don't know if they want to talk about it, but a close family friend lost her sister recently, and I just want to send her all the love. Um, and I can't imagine losing a child. That's the worst thing I think ever in life that could happen. So
Yeah.
I just want to like push a little bit of love out there, and if anybody else, just send that love out there to them
Be
because they gonna
blessed.
Definitely sending
Yeah,
love.
yeah.
Definitely
God
need it.
sending
moving in a
love.
mighty way.
They're gonna need it. And I just want to send all y'all some love too, and thanks for having me on and let me be a voice tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's part of my healing process too. Just
That's
living
right.
the testimony.
We
Amen.
appreciate you being brave enough to come on here and talk about
Yeah,
it
yeah.
for
Each one
real.
teach one, each
Cause
one reach one. That's what we doing out here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the whole point, is to make real connections about real things, not
Yeah.
arguing over all this stuff.
Hey, if we could just get one person
Not
to reach out to us, look, if it's just one person who reaches out to us instead of making the wrong decision, then we have done what we need to do. If we
and
make
let's
one
give it the
positive
full
impact in this
screen.
world, if we touch one person, then we've done what we're supposed to do.
Oh man.
Yep. 5 year
All right, peace to the
anniversary
homies,
coming up. 5 year anniversary, May 21st.
man.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
and you know that's something else that we didn't talk about. There's so many aspects to grieving, especially when it comes to losing loved ones. But the anniversaries, oh my
Yeah.
God! If I swear, folks, I started getting ready like weeks in advance, and I've got like 3 anniversaries
Mm.
associated, like when it happened, the relapse, and then the final finale. So I'm just like, I I have to
Yeah.
prep for each fucking son of a shit.
And then
Yeah.
it's like a time of a year sometimes can probably remind you as it gets closer. Like you remember it was looking like this outside or it was feeling like this and
Oh
oh, this
yeah,
is
the
how
next
I
one coming
felt.
up is in May, the weekend before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's coming up. Don't you worry, it'll be right around the corner. We got about 6 weeks.
420 is my brother's favorite holiday. 420. That was our holiday.
See there, see there.
We be
What
down
up,
under
Bo? We
the
see you in the building. We're talking about grief. We actually have Lakota's GoFundMe tag. But we're about to wrap it. Go ahead, Milkman.
Yo, it's finally my turn again. You know, I don't have too many lines on this show, but somehow I tend to say a whole hell of a lot. It's been another Monday. It's another case of the Mondays, if you will. We appreciate GA Boss, the one and only Maddie, and of course the exotic one has been in the building. I am the milkman. Until next time, we're gonna throw that hang up in the air because we finna do it like an old school BET comic commercial. It's time to wrap it up. We out of here, y'all.
We
Y'all stay
love
blessed, stay
y'all.
up.
Thank
Positive
y'all
vibes.
for, yeah. Hey, we're here for